Hello everyone. So let's move on with this lecture today. Um, in the last lecture, we talked about some basic operations that we can execute on dictionaries. So we first talked about how to create a dictionary, how to access an element, how to access a value associated with a key in a dictionary by specifying the key in square brackets followed by the name of the dictionary itself. Okay, it's just like here, Jose underscore grade, my dictionary. We are accessing the value associated with Jose, just for an example. Okay, so if the key itself is a string, then we would specify the key in the form of a string. If it would be an integer, if it would be a floating point value, whatever it is, we would just specify directly in these square brackets. Similarly, we talked about how we can add a new key value pair in a dictionary. So we write a name of the dictionary where we want to add a new key. So we specify the key in a square brackets, and then we just assign a value, and just like we make an assignment, normal assignment to a variable. So if the key already exists, then what happens is it actually ended up modifying the value associated with that key. So to recall the example that I gave with the currencies, where USA already had a value assigned dollar, and then when I assign a new value USD, so dollar was overwritten with USD. Okay. Similarly, we also talked about how to delete an element from a dictionary using the keyword del. So when you use del, you specify the name of the dictionary and you specify the key that you want to delete and its associated value. And the last one we did not discuss, but you can actually check the presence whether key is a member of a dictionary. So remember, this in is a membership operator. It just determines whether key, any specific key that we are looking for, is present in a dictionary or not. I'd like to further move ahead and discuss some other important methods that you may find useful. So first of all is the clear method. So if you have a dictionary, let's say name is my underscore dictionary, it has two elements, and when I run a clear method on it, it flushes out all the contents in a dictionary. And when you run this print, to test the contents in a print method after running this clear method, you will see that there are no contents present in this dictionary. Next is the get method. It is also important. So recall that we talked about how to access the value associated with a key. I gave you an example. If you recall this example here, let me pull that up. We talked about this one. Here, when we try to access an element, access a key which does not exist, so first of all, how we can access the key? We specify the name of the dictionary and the name of the key within these square brackets. If the key does not exist, what you get is the key error. However, with the help of this method, sorry, where it is here, is the get method. So we specify what value we want to get associated with the key that we specify here, and there is a default parameter. There is a default argument that we pass after comma. So what does the default do? So look at here in this example, we have a dictionary, and what I'm trying to get is a value associated with Jane. So Jane is defined in this dictionary, so it will print out the value 42, return the value 42, which is associated with this key Jane. However, Chad is not defined, is not a part of this dictionary. So when I try to get a value associated with the key, which is not a part of the dictionary, then rather than throwing off an error that we saw the key error, we can optionally display a message like NA. In this example, you can display a more meaningful message like key is not found. Okay, so this is how get method work. You need to specify the key what you want to get, and this default parameter you need to specify the message. Again, this is an optional parameter. If you do not specify a message, it will still throw off the key error if the key is not found. If the key is not found and default message is there, then it will display the default message. Okay. Next is the update method. So again, we have talked about how to modify the element. So let's take an example here. Again, this is a dictionary, and what you're doing is updating. So updating John and 50. So you might be wondering how it is different than the procedure that we have already talked about. Like for example, in this here, so I could have specified John here and its associated value here. But this method, what does it do? It actually allows you to add one key value pair. However, with this update method, you can pass the entire dictionary containing one element or containing 10 elements or containing hundreds of elements. So you just pass it that dictionary, it will be updated or added into the existing dictionary on which you are running this method. Okay. So when you run this my dictionary, you will see that the new element or the new dictionary is being added. So also note that existing entries in my dict1, for example, I actually changed the name of this one here. So will be overwritten if the same key exists in my dictionary. Okay. So whatever you want to add, if the key of this dictionary is already present in dictionary 1, then of course only the values will be overwritten. Next important method is pop. So pop method works on list, works on sets, works on dictionary as well. We have talked about it, how pop method, how the behavior of a pop method differs on these different data structures. On list, if we do not specify any index, it returns the last element and removes the last element as well. On set, it returns and removes any random element. On dictionary, we need to specify the key that we want to pop it out. We cannot leave it blank like sets or on what is it called, the um, sets. Okay, so we need to specify the key that we want to pop out, and if the key is not found, then we can display a message. Okay, so here you can see the default message is actually an optional thing. I can give you a demo real quick, but this is how it works. So when you see my dictionary, it will remove this, but it will also return the it will remove Ahmed, and it also returns the value associated with Ahmed.